Hello, everyone. Before we get started on this very special edition of 123 Wrestling, we would be remiss if we didn't get a chance to talk about the life of John Huber. A lot of people know him as either Luke Harper in WWE or as Brody Lee. He sadly, as of this recording, he was officially confirmed to have passed away yesterday from non-COVID related lung issues, according to his wife on Instagram. And it sucks. It really does.
Mhm.
2020, everybody's done it. 2020 has been the dumpster fire you can see from space, basically. And like, it sucks that somebody as amazing and as humble as Brody Lee, you know, passed away so soon. He was only 41.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's like amazing how much like in his prime he still was. Like after he left WWE, he finally found his groove at AEW this year, and it was just absolutely spectacular stuff from him. Just amazing work on the indie scene, off the indie scene, in WWE with Eric Rowan and a wide family, with and even currently AEW as the Exalta one for in Dino on AEW Dynamite. So like where you can start if you want. What are you guys' thoughts on Brody Lee?
Uh, Nick, you want to go?
I'll go. Yeah, it really came out of nowhere because, as far as we knew, he was healing from an ankle injury. Was what was the story was. Now I'm wondering if maybe he was dealing with something else, or yeah, it just seemed to come out of nowhere. That I guess it goes to show that it can happen anytime. And yeah, it really sucks because I really felt like he was a long term main event attraction in AEW, and it is great that he did manage to get a awesome run to AEW, like as short as it was. He like had a great run as AEW TNT champion, a great match with Cody. So yeah, so ended up Cody Rhodes ended up being his last opponent.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Mo, I know we were talking before we started, and you said you haven't really watched his stuff as Mr. Brody Lee in AEW, but so then,
Well,
what are your thoughts during his time with
I hadn't kept up
kept up?
um,
Sorry, my mistake.
lately.
Kept
I've
up
seen
lately.
enough of him as Mr. Brody Lee in AEW, which I enjoyed, but it was I kind of figured that he hadn't been, as far as I know, he hadn't been on Dynamite lately or on TV lately. So I figured it
No,
was like the injury, or it could have been a kayfabe injury, and he just wanted to spend some time off the road or back at home with his family. Um, I one part of me is wondering if this is like if it's lung related issues that his wife said. Is it like wrestling related? Like, if he wasn't wrestling, would he have had these kind of issues? And did
All
that kind of exasperate it as
yeah.
being a wrestler? Because we all, I mean, we're all here because we love wrestling, but we know that wrestlers, for a lot of wrestlers, they kind of have a shortened lifespan because of all the stuff that they do in in the form of trying to entertain us, the fans. So I kind of wonder personally if that's something that um, is something to take into account. But besides that, I I want to say when I first saw him as Luke Harper in WWE, I thought he was just like the embodiment of every like country horror, like in a horror movie when you see some country person and they're just like just standing there menacingly. It's like,
Yeah.
that person has done something wrong. You don't know if he's the killer, but if he is, you're probably not going to live the next time you see him. Like something like that. Like I have a feeling he could have been, if he was like a few other wrestlers who kind of gravitate towards film and TV after a while, he could probably play a part of some horror movie icon with
Yeah, I
how
remember.
big and menacing he is.
Yeah, I remember his one of his gimmicks was like his eye thing, his with his eyes, and like
Yeah, and
they made his entrance. I remember this, Nick made his entrance just a montage of his eyes. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. Even his like smaller lower card graphic was just a giant eyeball. Just so
it's like that
ridiculous.
that
yeah. I
beard.
remember like that one time he got kind of really excited walking around. He went, yeah, 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 yeah,
And and his buddies made that a t-shirt because he didn't have one
yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, it's like pretty much his attire was just a kind of dirty looking white tank top and some pants, and it's just like, I mean, I guess there's not much you really need to do for him to be like he's menacing. He doesn't need some flashy ring gear for when his time in the WWE. It's just like he's a big man, he has a big beard. He could probably crush your head like a walnut. So you're gonna go in and fight him, ding ding. But his time in WWE, I know that he wasn't there. I'm sure there was some good moments, but of course, like some other wrestlers wasn't being utilized creatively there, and then ends up becoming the exalted one in AEW, which I was just like, okay, this could work. And then you see all the different vignettes of him doing kind of like the biggest asshole cult leader that you could ever see in a wrestling program, and it was great. Even when it was like ridiculous stuff like coming out on a lawnmower for just because, I guess, it was all great. So
Before diving more into AEW, because I will say one more thing about his AEW stuff was he has sense of humor. He really has sense of humor to himself as well. I think Nick can attest to it with BTE.
Mm.
Him showing up on there, him giving shit to like Silver and Reynolds, him because that's where the lawnmower reference comes from, because he talks about how like where he lives there's no lawn around him, so it's kind of ironic that like he used his winnings to like buy a bunch of lawnmowers. It makes no sense. But honestly, I actually do remember some good matches he had. I know
Mm.
one that's being talked about a lot right now is his cage match he had on the Indies with who we know right now as Cesaro. He had a really good match with him. I know another match people bring up is the Worlds Collide 2019 match he had against Dijakovic,
Mm-hmm.
which was really talked about. Well, was really well talked about. The ones I remember though, definitely him and Rowan's feud against the Usos.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some really well done tag team matches between those two teams. Even the fun matches they had with they weren't great matches, but I remember the fun match they had with the Dudley Boys as well was really well done also. And then of course you can't talk about his AEW stuff without talking about that amazing dog collar match he had.
Yeah,
That just
Ultimate was his last match.
was also it was his last match, and it was a very good match too. Just
Mm.
really well done overall, and it's amazing the outpouring support. Like everybody, like everybody. WWE even got their head out their ass and did memoriam for him as well. Like it took him till, of course, it took him till the next day because I guess they wanted to officially confirm with their sources. But like it
It
was really
also
nice.
takes time to make those montages.
Yes, it does. But
well, I know they also put they I was scrolling through my Facebook, and they had put up a video in their feed that was I guess a series called Formerly Known As, and it
yeah,
featured him and his like indie wrestling days where he was wrestling out of a place called Samurai Martial Arts, or
interesting.
like it's on their Facebook. I'm
Yeah,
sure it's like up there if you want to look at it.
and you guys talk about his singles run, but we can't talk about Brody Lee Carper while talking about his legendary run as a member of the Wyatt family.
Yes, like I
And of
said,
course, the Wyatt family is one of the best groups I think in WWE history. Great
mhm.
gimmick. Like of course, Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and later on Braun Strowman. And of course, we can't forget the legendary 3-on-3 war between the Wyatt family and the Shield.
Yes, I almost
Especially
forgot.
their
Yeah.
first real encounter at Elimination Chamber.
Yes, I almost thank you. I almost forgot about the one because I remember more enjoying more of the Usos versus Harper because it was such a like opposites, more
Mhm.
high flyers, more like risk takers versus two more heavier dudes. Now, of course, we already know Harper can fucking move. Like
Mhm.
this dude, what did EG say? Built like a heavyweight, moves like a cruiserweight. That was
Mhm.
Harper. He did some amazing stuff during his time there, and it was just absolutely spectacular with his tag team matches, with the couple of good singles matches he had, a couple in WWE, definitely ones in AEW. Was there any standout moments for you guys with Brody Lee? I know I brought up his comedic muscle being flexed in his stuff on BTE, but was there any moments for you that like captured Brody Lee the best?
Well, like I said, definitely in WWE, a lot of his moments in the Wyatt family, the war they had with the Shield, was definitely one of the best faction warfares I've seen in WWE's history. And of course, we can't forget, even though it was a short reign, he did win the Intercontinental Championship right before Survivor Series that year.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, he went on to hold the SmackDown Tag Team titles twice, once with Wyatt and Orton as the Freebird rule, under the Freebird rule, and a second time with Rowan as the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yep.
And so, yeah, he did have, and ultimately, they they easily could have gone because he was building up popularity with the fans, especially during that Orton Wyatt original rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, they decided not to go in that direction. But then, of course, yes, he went over to AEW where he had a number of those great vignettes,
Uh-oh.
which a lot of people think he was making fun of a lot of Vince McMahon's mannerisms, but he claimed that he was making fun of mafia bosses in mafia movies. But I think it was probably a bit of both. Like especially the one where he's sitting there eating dinner with the Dark Order, and one guy sneezes and he just yells at him to get out. And then yeah, and of course like his feud with Cody was really good, especially that one-sided beatdown he did on Cody when he won the TNT Championship.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, and of course that good match he had with Moxley earlier this year over the AEW World Title
Yeah.
at Double or Nothing. That was a great match. Yeah, it's just it's a shame that this all happened because I feel like AEW definitely had plans for him, and unfortunately, we'll never get to see this come to fruition.
Yeah.
Two of the best tributes I've seen online so far came from Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, especially Bray Wyatt's message.
I like the really appreciate Rowan's and Wyatt's. I haven't seen Strowman's one, but I appreciate Rowan's and Wyatt's the most. Yeah. Um yeah, but what else can you say? We wish the best for his family and friends during this trying time. But apparently, this is what I found out according to all the tributes. Like he always said though, goodbye forever. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our episode of 1, 2, 3 Wrestling. I am Kristen.
I'm Nick Slade.
And I am Mo Brothers.
And on today's episode, no pay-per-view this time. And like we said last week, before we really dive into our next big reaction with Wrestle Kingdom stuff, we are going to take a look back at some of the stuff we really enjoyed match-wise from 2020. Yes, this has been what some would call it a train wreck and a shitstorm, but that would be an insult to trains and shit. But this has been a good year. This has actually been a good year for wrestling. There have actually been some really good matches, some that really needed audiences, one that had audiences and were really good. a whole bunch of different stuff. Boy, this was an exciting, turbulent year. So, so just to split the share, we're going to talk about our favorite matches. Each of us are going to talk about our favorite matches. We are probably going to overlap on a few of them, but each of us were giving a set amount. I was given 4 matches to choose. Nick was giving 3. Mo was giving 3, and this could be from any brand, any promotion, as long as they found it amazing. And then we're just going to go into each and every one, just talk about why it was one of our favorites of the year. Why was it? There's going to be no countdown. We're not. Look, I hate doing countdowns. I know a lot of YouTube sites hate doing countdowns, but I know a lot of YouTube viewers love hearing best ofs. So that's what we're going to focus on. Just what we thought were some of the best matches of the year in no particular order.
If we had to do a countdown, we'd have to do more coordination, and I personally don't feel like doing that. So
exactly
the way that we're doing it now.
Got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Mo. So, did anybody want to get started with their first pick?
I can get started.
Okay, so Nick, what is your first pick for one of the best matches of the year?
As my regular readers of Spandex and Suplexes, available every Saturday afternoon on FloridaGeekscene.com. They'll see in the special edition that came out today, it had to be pushed back to Sunday this week. I had my year-end Spandex and Suplexes year-end awards, where I named my best male wrestler, best female wrestler, best tag team, best event, and of course, best match of the year. And the match, it was very difficult to pick from this year. There was a lot of good matches, but the one I ended up choosing was from AEW Revolution, Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I have that on as one of my 4. Mo, what about you?
We've already messed up.
Mo, was that one of you?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't one of your 3.
It wasn't. Okay. I have something else.
Okay, cool.
Count on Mo to be a little different.
Okay, Nick, since you're going first, we'll start with your thoughts on why you believe this is one of the best matches of the year.
Ultimately, it was just an amazing tag team encounter. Like when they first put Omega and Page together, people thought it was kind of like a random kind of pairing. It's like, oh, they're just doing that old putting 2 singles guys together and expecting them to be put over everybody. But Hangman and Omega matched really well as a tag team. And ultimately, that's why they ended up becoming my pick for tag team of the year. And then that was also a crowded field this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we all know that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are known for putting on great matches, and Hangman's also great. So putting these 4 men in the ring together, they just tore the house down at AEW Revolution. And it's been regarded by a lot of people as probably the best tag team match of all time. It was definitely the highest rating among a number of viewers, including Dave Meltzer, who gave it a 6-star rating, which is the highest he's ever given any tag team match. Of course, that matters how much stock you put in Dave Meltzer's star ratings, but still, it was still a great match. It was definitely the highlight of that pay-per-view, in my opinion. That and also Moxley beating Jericho later tonight for the world title.
Yeah, that was a good moment too.
So it was definitely a great match between 2 of the best teams in the world. Well, Omega and Page aren't a team anymore, but they were still great this year. So yeah, it was great back and forth action, great in-ring drama between then all members of the Elite. So yeah, that was ultimately my match of the year.
So yeah, okay. So at first, there's a tiny part of me that was on the fence between this match and FTR Young Bucks at Full Year, because I thought, of course, FTR Young Bucks was that match everybody was hoping for years now. We got it. It was amazing, but there was something that where I felt like Hangman, the AEW Revolution Tag Team title match was better. And that was just, in terms of story going into the match. Now, on one hand, one thing that made me determine that Revolution Tag title match was the fact the build up for the Full Gear match had too many had glaring issues all over it. There wasn't really any oomph in terms of story. Like, it was just, oh my god, this is finally happening. That's it. That's like if Undertaker Sting happened. That was the story. It's like, oh my god, this is finally happening. That would have been the story. And I didn't. And it was. Yeah, let me disclaimer. I thought this match was really, really good. Let me continue. In terms of story, I just didn't feel it. Then on top of that, there was the two added little handicaps they gave the Young Bucks for some reason with Nick Jackson's injury, and on top of that, that stupid stipulation where if they lost, they would no longer have to go for. They could no longer go for the AEW tag team titles again. I'm like,
which was ridiculous. Like, why would you put that stipulation on yourself when you had no reason to?
Yeah.
It probably would have made sense if it wasn't like if they had done it down the line. But I guess it's just the way I see it is that if they really were gonna try and like actively go for the titles, then they could do it. I could see it as they lose, so now people can stop like hinting or like being like, when are the Young Bucks going for the titles? When are the Young Bucks going for the titles? It's like they can't. So then you just focus on the Young Bucks wrestling as wrestling, not like when are they eventually going to get a title shot, because they could never get a title shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a copy. They literally done the exact same thing the year before with Cody and Jericho,
Well,
where
yeah.
Cody's like, "Oh, if I can't beat Jericho, I can't ever challenge for the world title," and he had no reason to put that stipulation on himself either.
Now, before you get into why I really enjoyed the Revolution match, I do want to, like I said, once again, I want to bring up was the Full Gear match was still really good. I thought not only were these two teams amazing together, like we all predicted, but their match was such a cool homage to tag team wrestling overall, which both teams thoroughly respect. Like the spots, the spots, the homage spots that FTR was doing, homage spots that the Young Bucks were doing. The story in the match itself was well done. Like them focusing on the injured leg of Nick Jackson was a nice part of that. There was some very nice near falls throughout this entire bout.
So I will, to add to that, I believe this match wasn't the first match to pay tribute to past finishing moves of yesteryear that happened this year. But
You mean
I
the greatest
digress.
match ever?
I wasn't going to say it. I felt
Well,
like
that's why I specifically said homage to tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a similar but different thing that has already happened before in the year. But it was cool nonetheless. It was pretty awesome because that takes a lot of coordination between four wrestlers. They kind of just up the ante. It's like four wrestlers, two tag teams that have been at it for years, and they just like hitting all the spots, and it looked nice.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get right back into what the match we're actually going to discuss, which is the Revolution match. And like I said, what I felt like with my downsides with the FTR match was complete opposite with the Revolution match. The story of Hangman and his friendship with the Elite slowly dissolving since the Jericho Cruise the previous year. The strange Bedfellows tag team that was created in a way, because I know they were all elite, but it was just strange seeing Omega and Hangman team up to take the tag titles from SCU was really interesting. Even that promo after they won, where it really felt like they gave no fucks to Hangman. They really weren't giving him any love or something like that. It was that strange thing because Omega was in the middle of it all, still having with Paige having beef with the Bucks and the Bucks still having some kind of beef with Paige as well. Omega just trying his best to keep his tag team worker in check, also trying to keep his best friends in the Elite in check. All leading up to this match, this was like the first big blow-off match for this. First big match, like it was the beginning of. It was the end of the beginning. It was the end and the beginning for what would be Page's best run so far in AEW. In my opinion, this is where it started, because because you also had the fact that at any point during this match, you thought Page was going to betray Omega or like walk away and stuff. And even what was cool is with this match was even after the match, they hinted at it again. It just so storytelling, like you thought it was going to happen at any point that he was going to betray him.
Yeah, because I could tell, like, it felt like their original plan was to have Page turn heel, and because they were having him be disgruntled and feeling disrespected by the Bucks and by everyone else around him. But ultimately, what happens with a lot of characters, like similar things happen with Stone Cold, The Rock, and other characters, they made him a more interesting character by trying to turn him heel, and ultimately the same thing also happened with Becky Lynch, where the fans loved him even more, like with his new drinking badass cowboy, he just don't care. And I think he got so over with the fans they had to switch gears and keep him as a baby face. And ultimately, I thought the storyline ended up making the Bucks look like jerks, which to go back to the match later in the year with FTR, the biggest problem with that storyline is that you couldn't tell, like, the Bucks kept switching between being faces and heels in that one storyline.
Yeah.
Which I want to add to it. I feel like since this is, AEW and Tony Khan we know has money, I feel like the ultimate plan for Hangman was he just becomes this aloof like wrestler. You don't know if he's a heel or a face. He kind of just does whatever he wants, but he doesn't really care about his partner. That is until he meets a
Oh no. Oh no.
Things were getting interesting.
No.
Oh
no.
Mo, you with us?
Mo? Are you there, Mo?
He saw a basilisk and silver.
Oh no. We lost Mo. Gonna pause. So just pick up where Mo, just pick up where what you're leading to.
Okay. So Hangman is pictured as aloof and doesn't care about his fellow wrestlers to the point where nobody thinks he can do whatever job is needed or asked of him until he comes across a plucky, quirky young woman played by Zoe Deschanel who teaches him the value of being a good wrestler to his fellow teammates, and together captures the AEW tag team titles.
Okay, so I'm gonna continue from that's Zoe
That's
Deschanel.
That's what we waited for.
Zoe Deschanel reference. Great.
Zoe Deschanel, freaking Hallmark movie.
So I'm gonna continue. So
Christmas is over, Mo. Don't talk about Hallmark movies.
Yeah, I do agree with Nick in saying the match itself was a masterclass in tag team performances. Four men knew each other inside and out, within the confines of the square circle. But the Bucks bringing, of course, their tag team caliber wrestling. Omega being the bout machine that he is, and story wise, Page bringing his like unbridled determination to prove himself against two guys who don't think great of him. This was a match really amazing. And it was like I was saying before, this is where we were finally getting to see that Hangman Adam Page, who was deserving of an AEW World Title run. And hopefully, of course,
this storyline is what made me a fan of Hangman. Because before, during his time, Ring of Honor, New Japan, early AEW, I thought he was a good worker.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't think he was missing something. He was missing something. And that's why I just feel like he wasn't ready to be the first AEW World Champion. It was right to go with Jericho. But now this character he developed during this rivalry, and his time with Omega, he's got it. He's found his spark. He's found his uniqueness that has made him someone more than worthy to be the top guy in the company.
Yeah, definitely. And the only other thing I had to say about the Young Bucks is this is one of those you can add to our list of they're not just spot monkeys category.
Oh yeah, and I noticed that also Kenny Omega went back to back on my year end awards because he got match of the year last year for mine too, with his match with Tanahashi from Wrestle Kingdom last year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Omega went back to back.
Nice. Okay, so Mo, did you want to go next? What's your pick? One of your picks?
Sure. So one of my picks had a impact on me, and that was Rich Swann versus Eric Young.
Oh,
Bound for Glory. All right.
cool.
And
Okay.
so my whole reasoning for this is because like you'll kind of see somewhat of a theme between the ones that I have picked. But this one, like I have said before, I don't follow Impact. Um, but I feel like we've all watched some form of Impact, whether it was like TNA or I Global Force Wrestling or the current iteration of Impact. And Nick, I know you are like the Impact salesman for this promotion, and I feel like this match really showcased the best of the best. And it was nice to see Eric Young in a form like so. My first encounter of Eric Young was actually playing the TNA Impact wrestling game by Midway. Cuz I I was aware of TNA beforehand. I was aware that it took place in Orlando for the longest time, but some of the wrestlers that weren't legends in other promotions, I wasn't too aware of. And so around the time that game came out, it was when it was Eric Young had the gimmick where it's like the whole crowd was with him, and it was like,
Mhm.
"Don't fire Eric Young."
Yeah. Don't
And
fire Eric. Yeah.
so it was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm with him. Don't fire this guy. I don't know what his deal is, but don't fire him. That seems messed up. And it's like you see all that old stuff, and it's like he's this scrappy underdog, and it's just like you nobody's really giving him much of a chance. And then he goes to eventually he ends up in WWE, and he's in Sanity, and it's like the NXT when he was in Insanity was uh pretty awesome until he got brought up in like most things that didn't pan out too well. But then he comes to Impact, he goes back to TNA, and it's like he has the kind of it's like all this pent up intensity that he couldn't unleash while he was in WWE, and he brought that out when he went back home to Impact, and I enjoyed it. And I also enjoyed the fact that Rich Swann, who was another person who I'd seen in WWE, got to showcase was put in more of a spotlight because I feel like he was showcasing a lot when he was in WWE, but he wasn't being presented a whole lot because he was in the cruiserweight division, and it was just like they don't really care about the cruiserweights there. But here it was two wrestlers that I had seen in other forms that really stood out, and I feel like this match is one of those that could definitely stand the test of time in terms of the history of Impact.
Okay, Nick. Since you're our Impact senior wrestling analyst, what do you have to say about the Swan Young match?
I thought it was very good. Like you said, Eric Young had been a heel before Sandy. He had turned heel in TNA near the end of his run there. but yeah, he didn't get to really do much in WWE with the Sanity characters. I feel like coming back to Impact, he's still kind of the same Sanity character, but really the one that we wanted to see, the one that had all the potential. Like he's now teaming up with Joe Doring, which people who are familiar with all Japan Pro Wrestling are familiar with Joe Doring, and they're now a dangerous duo. So yeah, when he came back and he was a surprise entrant into the championship, the vacant championship match, Slamversary, I was excited to really see him come back, and ultimately Eddie Edwards won that match, but it wasn't too long to Eric Young got his hands on him again and won the title on Impact,
Right.
and he had a great uh, rival with Swan going into Bound for Glory, where Swan had to prove himself against the dangerous maniac Eric Young. It was a great encounter, a great main event to Bound for Glory, and like you said, Mo really got to showcase two of the best guys in Impact right now, and it was great to see Rich Swann overcome the odds and win his first World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I all I'll have to say about the match, yes, it was amazing. I do agree it was absolutely amazing. But I do agree with Mo in saying it falls under that this is what happens when somebody actually uses two WWE superstars properly. This
Mm-hmm.
clearly showed that. So like amazing work from Eric Young. I'm surprised. I was really surprised about how old Eric Young actually is. Not because of his voice, but how surprised Young actually is because he's been in.
How old Eric Young is?
Yeah, he's
That's all I have
not
to
that
say.
old. He's not that old, but some amazing work from both competitors, and yeah, it's clearly something you don't see often in WWE. And I hate this is going to be pretty much me just saying why like Impact, like other promotions, know how to use WWE, like WWE stars better than WWE themselves. But this was a clear example of that. Some amazing work from two guys, some great near fall, some great performances from guys who've been well deserving for years and for so many years now. And like to put the title on Rich Swann, a guy who's had a very before even joining Impact had a very turbulent time in the last couple of years while in WWE to a point where he had to leave. And then Impact picked him up, and then from there on, Impact started to build up momentum again. And luckily, Impact was the spotlight for Rich Swann to thrive. Whether it was with teaming up with Willie Mack, whether it was proving himself towards some lunatic like Rich Swann. From what I saw in the promos, I think you can agree with these, Nick. The build up for his match was actually well done as well, wasn't
Yes.
it?
Oh
Like
yes.
it was dangerous. Like story wise, it was dangerous being called up because of the injury. Swan retained because of Young before Bound for Glory, and it was like good story work overall.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing like main event
Yeah.
match for Bound. Just really good stuff. Like A+ work on that
Yeah. Great
overall.
long term story because they started right when Young came back in the Slamversary match because Swan got the surprise pin on him, and Eric Young beat him so bad that he could continue in that match. So
Yeah.
great long term storytelling by Impact. He's now the Impact World Champion. We're next going to see him compete at Hard to Kill, where he's going to team with the Motor City Machine Guns against the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega and his former Bullet Club stablemate, the Good Brothers. So that should be a great match.
So I would
That might
like
be a
to
contender
add,
for 2021 match of the year for next year's list.
so to add to this particular match, what I will also say is I feel like this was one of the matches that I feel like definitely did well with having no crowd. Like having no crowd there to either sway the overall feeling of the match, and also to have no crowd noise, especially when you hear them like just they did well with talking to each other, like insulting each other and building that up, the kind of tension in the match, which is why I also enjoyed it because it wasn't like you're hearing crowd noise. It wasn't like you're hearing people. like a limited amount of people in the background, like cheering or booing at specific expected times. It was just like you're hearing the sounds of them crashing to the mat. You're hearing the sounds of Eric Young's gravelly voice just yelling insults at Swan, and Swan just pretty much saying, I'm never going to give up, or I won't give up, and all this stuff. So I think that added to it.
Right. Okay, so I am up next, and I will do. I feel a bit of an out of box choice, but I feel like I just really enjoy this match, and you can see my reaction, our reactions to this match, and that is from. I'm going to say the pay per view. Let me see if you guys can guess it. From WWE Clash of Champions 2020. Which match am I talking about?
The Intercontinental title match.
Goddamn right. Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy. Not to determine who's new Intercontinental champion, but determine who's the true Intercontinental champion.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna be honest, there were, like I've probably a million times, I'm gonna bring up a million times more. There were a lot of good matches here, but a lot of good matches here could be deemed as fun and entertaining. AEW certainly had a whole load of them. We've seen them with Hardy cinematic stuff, with some goofy shenanigans going with Orange Cassidy. Like easily one of the best comedic matches of the year is Cassidy versus Pac at Revolution 2020. Was very well done. And even New Japan has had fun with Toru Yano matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like the G1 this year was
That's
like
King of Pro Wrestling champion Toru Yano.
King of Pro Wrestling champion Toru Yano. That's right. And it was funny is like it was so fun because he freaking like he like gave Sonata his first loss of the G1 during this, and it was so mind blowing. And then all the other shenanigans he did, like he was like this close to being Zack Sabre, but it was a fun comedic matches. But this match, this triple threat ladder match, was so enjoyable to watch. You had what could be possibly described as currently Sami Zayn's best run so far in WWE as this smarmy heel who's trying to get away from dealing with anybody and anything. And his selling as well. Like I put in my notes, I put the breakdancing on top of the ladder. His self getting hit in the ladder, just dong dong. Like he did an Eddie Gordo Tekken combo on that ladder before falling off it. I mean, I didn't even put it here that scary ladder spot Hardy took out of the ring onto, I think it was the table or the side. I forgot what it was, but it was just it was horrifying.
I think it was another ladder.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy's ladder piercing.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ, that was some great work. And let's not forget, like, well, I'm talking about Sami Zayn's work, but like Hardy and Styles. Oh my God, just amazing performances from both of them. Just you have three amazing veteran performers in this ring. You're going to, and I'm going to bring this up again in another one of my picks. We have amazing when WWE actually gets veteran performers in the ring and lets them do their thing. It's spectacular. It's absolutely spectacular, and this was no exception. Zayn getting back his rightful place as the true IC champion, because there was, of course, that controversy where, like, WWE apparently promised Zayn, anybody who leaves, their story won't be affected, none of that at all. But then they strip Sami of the IC title. Now, that sucked, and what was great with bringing Zayn back was they made him the true IC champion. They made him get in Hardy's face about it, get in Styles' face about it. He didn't care who was champion because he always believed the entire time he was the true Intercontinental champion. Nobody else. It was him. Even after he won, they were calling him the new, and he was like, no. Even after he's like, no, I'm not the new. I'm the Intercontinental champion now. And there, of course, I'm not going to deny there were some great ladder matches this year. The Takeover Tampa ladder match. There was I can't think of any more right now because there have been so many really good ladder matches this year. Oh, the two
TLC matches.
The two TLC matches, which I will go back on what I said in the TLC preview reaction saying okay, I may have been a bit too harsh on the first TLC match because that's what was actually a good one. That was an actual good one when I was thinking back about what matches to choose. That one was good. There was some really good ladder matches here. But honestly, this was the one I was just enjoying my time with it. Every little bit was just so enjoyable, so fun, and just it's the reason it stands out to me overall this year. For one of my favorite matches of the year.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. Of course, the way Sami Zayn won was absolutely hilarious and brilliant.
Yeah, I
And it
didn't
was
even bring
perfect for
that
his
up.
character.
That was great too. He freaking handcuffed himself to Styles, and then he had a key the whole time. So he unhooked himself, attached Styles to another ladder, and climbed up to win the title. To grab the title. Just fucking great work.
Yeah. And Sammy he kept doing that character where he kept getting count out wins and DQ wins. And it ultimately led to this past Friday's Christmas Day edition of SmackDown, where he had a really fun lumberjack match with Big E, and Big E is now your new Intercontinental Champion.
Yep.
Did you see that promo on WWE.com he did after, where he was wearing a construction hat?
I heard it was really good.
The one he was wearing the construction hat, I laughed my ass off because it was one of the funniest promos I have heard, even from Big E standards. So yeah, definitely you guys check that out.
So what I will say about this particular match is that for a lot of these matches that we've seen, I I usually think of in the terms of just like wrestling capability and how entertaining it is. This is one of those matches where like for people who don't know, I am an avid like wrestling game fan. I've played almost every single from SmackDown before even SmackDown. I have No Mercy and WCW NWO World Tour all the way. I've played most every 2K wrestling game. I love wrestling games. I'll try and give most of them a chance. So with that in mind, I just imagine like while that match was going on and everything happened afterwards, I'm just thinking it would be amazing to actually try and pull this off in a video game where it's like you look under the ring or you look in a special spot and there's handcuffs and you just handcuff your opponent to like a predetermined spot and they have to do like a little mini game or something like that in order to get out of the handcuffs, or else it's just like free reign for you to get up on the ladder and get the title. Like stuff like that comes into my mind when I see crazy ridiculous stuff like this happen.
Right.
But overall it was a very enjoyable experience.
Okay, Nick, you're up next with your next pick.
My pick is not a traditional wrestling match, but definitely the match I think I love the most this year, and that would be WrestleMania this past year, The Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a Boneyard match.
You know what? Honestly, I decided, you know what? Somebody else is going to put cinematic match. Somebody's going to at least put one of this good cinematic
I
matches.
had to put this one
And
in there.
I was like, that's cool. That's great. I'm going to pick four. I'm going to pick four others. But go on. Go on.
This ultimately ended up being Undertaker's last match, I guess you call it. But
It's quote unquote last match
until let's see.
Undertaker versus Sting.
Well, we had that opportunity, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was great
baby.
storytelling leading up to it. We're the first time really in a storyline, not counting his time as the American Badass, where somebody really went after Mark Calloway and not the Undertaker. And AJ Styles got really personal going after Taker's wife because he was so desperate just to get Taker to fight him that he had to make it so personal that Undertaker was so furious that he created a very unique character. Like, people thought it was the return of the American Badass, but it was kind of a amalgam. It was a mix of Mark Calloway, Dead Man Undertaker, and American Badass Undertaker into one unique version of Taker. And of course, it was
Ultra Taker.
Ultra Taker. Ultra Instinct Taker. But yeah, it was really kind of the because we saw the fire. We see the Firefly Funhouse match the next time. But this was the first real cinematic match we saw of this era. We had seen cinematic matches in the past, especially Impact Wrestling with the Broken Universe, which has continued over WWE and AEW. But this was really the start of the trend that we saw this year with great cinematic matches. And it was great performance by AJ Styles. AJ Styles, in my opinion, is one of the most talented performers in a ring, not just as a wrestler, but in terms of character work. Because AJ Styles can be he can be serious. He can be chicken shit heel. Uh, he can be fun. He can be comedic, and he played every beat perfectly. And of course, he had the Good Brothers helping him, and ultimately in WWE, Canyon Undertaker killed them off. So,
Yeah.
but it was a great back and forth. It played a lot of tribute to Taker's character over the years. Great set build up in this graveyard, and it was just many memorable, awesome moments people still using as meme templates to this day.
No, the when he pops up, when Taker
When he
pops up
pops up behind him,
Yeah.
and that fight on the roof, and then when he finally took out Styles, put him in the grave, and buried him,
Yeah.
and then the fire comes across the building with his symbol, and he goes out with a blaze of glory, and he rides his motorcycle off.
While Metallica
awesome.
plays in the background, yeah, really metal stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's not a traditional match, and ultimately I decided to go with a traditional match for my match of the year, but it was just a really unique and fun experience, and I just felt like it deserved a place on the list.
Okay, I'm gonna admit it's not that I did, if we were to do each top 10, I would say honestly, this or the Firefly Funhouse match would have made my list. To be perfectly honest, they would have, because you know why? They clear. It was obvious from the get-go they were cinematic matches. The reason I didn't even remotely consider playing Backlash as one of my picks was because it felt like it was trying to be cinematic, but like a regular match cinematic. That's it. Just a regular match. Just, hey, we're gonna try again on this spot, or we're gonna try again this spot to get it done. And it's because of that Edge got injured again in the first place, because they had to redo a spot. And it was a good match, but it just felt like it was too. It was one of the few times I would go, I think Meltzer is right in not rating this, because there's too much that's already been edited or fixed. Like, when a match gets edited on TV, that's fine. If when Kairi Sane got injured against Nia Jax, for example, or when Gargano got that nasty spot in his match on NXT against Ridge Holland, they edit that part out where they check him up on it, or edit part out where they're healing or patching up Kairi's wound. That's fine. I don't mind those edits, because those edits make sense, because we don't want to see that part. They can make the match flow back again. But for but for the Backlash match, I just couldn't see it as anything but a match where I felt like it was too stitched together, too stitched. It didn't feel like it.
To add on to what you're saying, I understand what you're getting at. You're essentially the feeling is essentially Lucha Underground. Because it's it's kind of hard to rank if you were just going for only cinematic matches, or only pre-recorded matches where they just keep doing the spots over and over again, and then doing a Frankenstein edit of everything so that it all flows in some form, then it would make sense. But when it's you have all these other matches that are doing it the traditional way, where it's they have they're working together, they have this one opportunity on film to do it, and if they mess up on something, they mess up on something, and the internet's going to make fun of them for it, but they messed up, but they also put themselves out there compared to.
I will give Lucha Underground the benefit of the doubt that all their stuff is already pre-recorded. I will give them that. At least give them that, because they already pre-recorded all that because it has to flow with their actual cinematic cutscenes and stuff like that, their storytelling. But back to the Boneyard match. Yeah, it was fun. I think this was the most, before we found out he was going to retire, we were all considering this to be just the way Undertaker WrestleMania matches should be from here on in, just, have some way of having a cinematic match to where he can just look amazing without having to take too many deadly spots. Like there was the one spot they kept in where he legit cut himself when he banged his fist into the glass.
Yeah, and it made him look badass when he kept it.
Yeah, and they kept it in because it worked with the flow of it and stuff. I really like that. The Druids were weird but enjoyable. It's just like that moment in like a martial arts film where like Bruce Lee has to take down a bunch of random nobodies, kind of thing. It works so well. Like back in April, I was like, I don't know about the Druids thing, but now I'm looking back, I'm like, the Druid thing makes sense. We want Undertaker to look like a complete and utter badass, And this is this guy taking on these random motherfuckers who just popped up out of fucking nowhere. I mean, to this day, Gallows and Anderson called it one of the most fun experiences they had in doing any kind of cinematic match. Their podcast, they brought it up quite a few times. They really enjoyed filming this with not only with their best friend Styles, but with Taker as well. I mean, This was really fun. This was a great way. He even incorporated how like he merged all three versions of it together into one. The Dead Man, was it Big Evil, and Dead Man Inc., the biker taker, pretty much into one. And it's a cool way of doing it because it really showed all versions of that. The back talking version of Big Evil, the like deadly teleporting and fire raising abilities of the Dead Man, and of course Biker Taker. He rides in on a motorcycle or Metallica,
badass.
like the real man.
American Badass. Sorry, he rides in while Metallica blares in the background. I mean, what the fuck?
I mean,
it was great.
It would have been great if it was Limp Bizkit, but I guess they didn't want to deal with him anymore.
No, they did not.
We're gonna roll around from that. Okay.
And then I'm forgetting about Styles. Styles was great, like you were saying.
Great
in the build up to this, making it as like shoot real as possible. Calling him Mark, calling how like the only reason he takes this stuff is to help with Michelle McCool's credit card payments or some shit like that. Just so many, like, I believe, wasn't that line improvised by Styles?
I think it might have been because like Undertaker had like an on the moment reaction to that line.
And it was solid, great build up too. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, fuck, this build up started at a crown jewel event. Of all places. No, Super Showdown. It started as a Saudi show. This build started as a Saudi show of all fucking places.
Well, it built up a little bit more, but that's when Taker came back because Styles called him out before then.
And then there was the Elimination Chamber match. What was it? It was Black versus Styles.
Yeah, it was Aleister Black versus Styles, yeah.
And no DQ match. And he showed up again. It was actually good build up. Actually, and one of the key parts it was a freaking Saudi show. I just freaking WWE's ridiculous sometimes.
The Saudi shows can count sometimes.
Yes. Now, but amazing stuff from Styles. The way he entered the quote unquote match, the way he treated Taker, the way Taker treated him, it was amazing. Especially at the end where like Styles is trying to kind of not begging for mercy, but just trying to not go off, and just Taker continually back talking him while they're getting closer and closer to the plot in the ground,
the plot hole
in the ground. Just some great and amazing selling from Styles. We know he sells like a madman. Some great heel work from him overall. It was one of the best matches of the year. I can see why he made one of the best matches of the year. Mo, do you have anything else to say about the match?
So I will say, I know we're all hyping on this match. I personally don't think it was the best cinematic match. I do. It's not on my 3 favorite matches, but I was considering it. But I will say later what I think was the best cinematic match. And I feel like it represents 2020. And I'll explain it later.
Yeah, in my opinion, the 2 best cinematic matches of the year came from WrestleMania 36. easily came from WrestleMania 36.
Firefly and Boneyard, yeah.
Yeah, like hell, there's a guy watching online where he's like, it was like best matches of the year, and he's like, no, because we went number 1 this match, but then he went number 0 Firefly Funhouse match, and he just went, I don't care what anybody thinks. The Firefly was just like a tour de force. It's not my pick. Be honest, it's honestly, I didn't, like I said, no Cinematic matches made my list. Not my list, my picks.
Yeah, honestly, I love the Firefly too, but the reason I ultimately went with Taker Styles, the Firefly was more just a psychological attack, while the Boneyard was still a physical fight. And that's why I ultimately went with the Boneyard in terms of it being close to a match.
Yeah. So Mo, what's your second pick?
So my second pick involves 2 people that you guys were all excited about seeing fight, and I'm kind of wondering if you even chose this match. It's Sasha versus Bailey in a Hell in a Cell.
I am ashamed to admit no women's matches made my list. I swear to God,
Shame.
if God is my witness, if we did like a top 5 or top 10, I could easily tell you one. I think Banks, Bailey, and Hell in a Cell.
I mean, you have
most
4,
likely made that
which
list.
means it didn't make the 4.
Look, I just chose 4 of matches I thought were good. Really well, one of the best.
Direct all angry comments at Kristen below.
Look, I will do right now. I will do my favorite women's match of the year. Was it Bailey Sasha at Hell in a Cell was fantastic. I thought Asuka Sasha at SummerSlam was well done. I thought what was that one really good AEW women's match? What was it? Shida, and Nyla at All Out.
Double or Nothing. That was a better match.
The Double or Nothing match was well done. Those are 3 really good women's matches. I highly suggest checking out. There. All right. Go on.
Oh, you can't. I also had to throw in a women's match. Shida versus Thunder Rosa.
That was a great match too. Okay, Mo, go on.
So, I know how much you guys love build up. This has been a long time coming.
Like 2 years build up.
As we all know.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you just gotta tease yourself a little. You gotta delay that gratification. So when it finally happens, I know you guys were excited. I know a lot of people were excited. I was like, cool, let's see what happens. And like usual, they brought it. Like out of the hell, how many Hell in a Cell matches there were that this time?
There was
3.
There was 3.
And it was 2 men's, and this was the only women's in the Hell in a Cell. And the women's Hell in a Cell match was the only one that actually utilized the cell in a way that I thought was cool. The other ones, it was Uso versus Reigns. That was like that.
The cell wasn't necessary in that one.
Yeah, the cell wasn't necessary. And then it was who was
McIntyre
versus Orton. And
where the wrong guy won.
Right. But there was like
we fixed it, it's fine.
There was one huge spot from that match, and it also kind of made it awkward because of how tall the cell was, and then the jumbotron or the video screen that's right in the middle that shows Thunderdome and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That I think blocked some of the shot and some of the angle, and I also think that kind of determined how they were moving about there. So I feel like those 2 matches didn't really work for Hell in a Cell. This one did, because you have 2 years of aggression and tension, and it's finally just let out, and everything has been slowly going downhill for them as a team, as friends, and it's just let out in this contained area. They're doing everything that they can to hurt each other. Bailey's doing some weird concoction with duct tape and kendo sticks, and then there's all kinds of weapons. They're attaching stuff to the cell so they can ram their opponent into it later. They're jumping off of the cell in different ways. And it's like, if you had any doubts in your mind about these women and their capabilities, you watch this match. If you still have any doubts, you are blind, you are stupid, and you are not my friend anymore. I don't like you.
Okay, I will admit though, you know what's funny is that the women's Hell in a Cell matches have all been good if you really think about it.
Yeah,
Like,
and Sasha's been in all three.
Sasha Flair was well done. Yeah, wrong person won in my opinion, because that was when they were hot potatoing the title between Flair and Banks.
Yeah, where Charlotte had to win on every pay-per-view.
Yeah, that one I'll admit, it was rough around the edges because it was their first time, but it was still a good Hell in a Cell match, I think. Then you had Banks Becky with one of my favorite Hell in a Cell spots. Let me put 2 kendo sticks in the corner, put a chair on there, set my opponent on there, and do a ridiculous move right into them. The fuck?
And then of course this one.
Yeah, like that's one of the reasons one of my personal favorite Hell in a Cell matches was the tag team one between Usos and New Day.
Yeah.
That was really some well invented spots as well. And here it's the same thing. I agree with Mo. There's some really good spots. Yeah, I think what ultimately made me decide like why it didn't make the 4 I had to choose for his video was the spot with Bayley trying to do whatever the fuck she was doing with the kendo sticks and the duct tape. I was just like, it kind of took me a bit out of it, especially when she started asking the ref for help with the duct tape. It took me a bit out of it. Honestly, it's a tiny nitpick. I know it's funny, but it was a tiny nitpick to a great match. Honestly,
if I'm going to do the work of the writers for this, I'm going to say it fits with Bayley's character in which she is so frustrated and doesn't care about the rules to where she will even get the person who is supposed to be officiating her match to help her injure her opponent. And she is just so pent up with rage about Sasha that she's just like, I don't care what this does, I'm sure it's gonna do something, and then it doesn't work out. Ref, I need you to help me. I need you to help me hurt her. Help me hurt her.
And yeah. I agree too. Like Bayley's heel turn was, for me personally, was questionable at first. I'll be honest. I felt like it was kind of weird direction they're going to take with Bayley. Would it work? Since she joined NXT, she's been a face this entire time. You know, there's not been a hint of like evil tendencies and stuff like that. But I think the moment, like, as soon as she came out and tore the Bayley buddies asunder, it felt like there was going to be something different. Her hairstyle changed. The way she acted in the ring, changing up her movesets. Being the
first time where she cut the inflatable.
That's the part. Yeah, that was the part I was telling you about.
Inflatable tube men. That was just like, when I saw that, I was just like,
then it was working so well. Then they had like a heel Sasha join her, and it just worked so well. We were so annoyingly pissed about that rivalry between her, Kairi. The feud between the Kabuki Warriors and Asuka and Bayley ultimately. Bayley and Sasha ultimately. We were so, but it worked so well because like Bayley was great. Sasha being there magnified Bayley's heelish tendencies. It was so amazing. And she got over the stupidest catchphrase you can ever think of for a heel. Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Hello. And they finally made sure with that, which is hilarious. Like, it took you this long to make a fucking shirt of that?
It takes WWE forever to make shirts.
But it was such a great way. It was so great build-up. And you guys know, I was pissed that they had, by like the end of Horror Show at Extreme Rules, they hadn't fucking pulled the trigger yet. I'm just serious, like, just do it. Do it.
Christian's just blue balled here. Just gotta wait till the next pay-per-view. Maybe it'll happen.
Maybe it won't.
Happen.
Maybe
they'll be friends again, even stronger.
But ultimately, the payoff was worth it. It was a Hell in a Cell match. You know, it was the one like you guys just said, it was the one Hell in a Cell match this year that made the most sense. This has been building up to a breaking point, And what better way to have a breaking point, not at the WWE breaking point pay-per-view, but at Hell in a Cell. Just amazing work from them. Like if I had one, like I said, my only nitpick was the Bailey duct tape thing, but that's it. It's otherwise a fucking amazing match.
So yet again, this is something that I want in a video game, but I want it to actually work, where you can actually duct tape kendo sticks together and you just do a double kendo stick and it just is double the damage, or turn it into a mini game. And if you mess up, you're just sitting there and you're just shouting for help, whoever can help you to try and get it to work.
Well, AEW's making a new game, so you should send them these ideas, Bo.
Well, hopefully someone watches this and just sees all the random BS that I spout, and maybe they'll incorporate it.
Yeah, if anyone from AEW watches us, thank you for watching. But yeah, Bailey, in my opinion, is one of the MVPs of 2020. She had a breakout year. I mean, I loved babyface Bailey. I mean, it was great. She's the hugger character, but her heel character, she has created such amazing work as a bad guy, to the point where I would kind of miss, like, eventually she's gonna go back to being a good guy. That eventually happens with all of them. But I love heel Bailey, and that's why in my year-end awards, I ultimately decided to name Bailey my female wrestler of the year.
And
it ultimately came down to her and Asuka, and it was hard to choose because I love Asuka. You guys know I love Asuka, but I thought in terms of the entire 12-month year, Bailey had the most success. She broke out with her heel character. She had the longest reign SmackDown title reign in history, 380 days. During that time, she also won the tag titles, where she and Sasha at one point held all the belts on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
And ultimately coming off with that Hell in a Cell match. That's why I had to name Bailey my female wrestler of the entire year, 2020.
And honestly, we keep on forgetting to bring up, but like Sasha Banks was great this year too.
Yes.
There's no doubt that Sasha was great this year, but Sasha's always great as a heel. She's done amazing heel work overall. A lot of people, I know people online say like she does better heel work than face work, and I actually do kind of agree with that on that front. Just like that's why like Bailey Sasha at the first Takeover Brooklyn is my favorite match. Like amazing heel work from Sasha, even into their second match at Takeover Respect. Dude made the Bailey's top fan fucking cry. I mean, Sasha did amazing heel work there, and she did amazing work here too. Her performance in Hell in a Cell, the build up to the Hell in a Cell match, the part where like she's saying that you were going to betray me, I was going to betray you. It's like she knows how to do it so well, and to have her turn face was a great move. We saw it coming, but it was still great, and so worked with the rage in that cell, rage in a cage, pretty much, just like great stuff overall.
Yeah, the only thing with that storyline that I ultimately found weird that I mentioned in my Hispanic suplexes is that Sasha didn't really have a lot of reason to complain, because she made Bailey this way. It was her influence that she convinced Bailey to turn heel. She convinced Bailey to become like this. And she really gave Bailey every reason in the world to suspect her, because she was constantly staring at her belt anytime she didn't have one of her own.
Yeah.
So I feel like, Sasha, you're Dr. Frankenstein. This is your monster. You got to deal with it.
Exactly. Okay, so my next match, I'm going to save my big one for last. Okay, well, when I mean big one, I mean one that I have a lot to talk about with. But my next match is not a pay-per-view match. It is a TV match that happened this past summer. Can you guess which one it is?
There was a lot of good TV matches this year.
Okay, let me rephrase. I briefly hinted at it in my previous pick. In one of my previous picks. In my Clash of Champions pick, I previously hinted at it.
Oh, I think I know which one. But
which,
I had, and it's gone. It's gone.
It's the finals of the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
From SmackDown, from the June 12th, 2020 episode of SmackDown. Now, I'm going to get
AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy. Oh, it just sounds Daniel Bryan. That's what it was.
Get out of fucking school. No, I'm kidding.
I thought you were gonna say Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy.
My only real
match was good.
I'm gonna get my biggest gripe out of the way with this. I hated the fact there was fucking commercials. It bugged the shit out of me. There was fucking commercials in this.
That's what you get with a TV match. You gotta have commercials.
But that's it. That was my only gripe. This fucking. There's a reason people are calling this one of the best WTV matches of the year or all time in general. Just like it's what it's funny. We got this match because they decided to screw over Sami Zayn in real life. It's weird that's how we got this match. That's the weird circumstances we are with this match. And like we were knee deep in the pandemic era by this point. Like 36 came and went. We had a decent IC match between Bryan and Zayn. Nothing big came from that. But Raw and SmackDown, they weren't doing so well. Honestly, no. WWE was still trying to figure out how to do pandemic era Raw and SmackDown. They were doing Performance Center stuff. They were just like they didn't really feel like they were getting on their feet. Yeah,
there were those Raws where they had like 6 squash matches in a row, and it was hard to watch.
And then they showed like the one Raw. They showed the entire Royal Rumble match from this past January.
Yeah.
For example, they didn't feel what we're doing. Then we got the Intercontinental Championship tournament, and there were some good matches. There were some good, well done matches. But then you get Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles in there, and
two of the best.
And to what I was saying previously, this is what WWE excels at. When they let their top level indies darlings, top star, whatever you want to call them, when they let them get in that ring, give them enough time to do what they can to put on an amazing match. When they do that, they let them do that. It works. It freaking works. It's chemistry that works so well. And you have 2 veterans going at it, pretty much. 2 decorated veterans. And they put this on free TV. They freaking put this on free TV of all places.
Yeah, because I remember the reason why. If you notice, for the past few months, most Intercontinental title matches have been on TV and not on pay-per-view. It's because of the pandemic, the ratings have slipped, and they were going to use the IC title as the ratings grabber for Fox. And
what was great going into this was either man could have won this.
Yeah,
Bryan had good reason for winning it. He Styles accepted his buy-in after the whole Jeff Hardy, Elias, Sheamus controversy. He accepted buy-in. Bryan didn't. Bryan wanted to persevere through it on his own to make it to his final, to get to the finals. That was great. Styles didn't give a fuck. He just wanted to be an Intercontinental champion. He wanted that gold. He's always strived. Heel Styles is always going to be better than face Styles because he's always considering himself better than anybody else at any moment of any time. Plus, let's not forget, Nick. This also gave us the debut. Was the on-screen debut of one Joseph Parks.
Yes.
Because of Styles. That's another positive. Because of Styles winning, we got Joseph Parks showing up as quote unquote accountant. We got the piss joke.
We didn't get enough of him.
Yeah. No, but it was honestly a good match. Honestly, could have gone either way. It was very well done, honestly. For me, I was sad that Bryan lost, but that's just me. Bryan's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So, that's all I gotta say. It's a freaking great match. Check it out if you haven't. It's on free TV. Well, it was on free TV. Find a way to find it. Find a way to watch it.
Go watch it on a network. Yeah. To me, I don't think this is hyperbole at all for me to say Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles are the 2 best wrestlers of their generation. I don't think there's anyone else better.
How many times has Styles popped up on our picks so far?
Because AJ Styles is one of the greatest of all time. There's a reason why PWI named him Wrestler of the Decade.
He's shown up and you and me pick. Nick, you and me pick. He showed up 3 times so far.
He's AJ fucking Styles. He's the phenomenal one.
Continue to.
But yeah, these are 2 of the best of all time. Definitely the best 2 of their generation. Seeing them go head to head for a very extended match, especially for a TV match. They went all out. And the great thing about it is we really could have gone out of the way. As much as I do love Daniel Bryan just a little bit more, but I was happy to see Styles win it because he had never held that belt before. It's one of the few belts WWE he hadn't held.
Mhm.
So I was glad to see AJ become Intercontinental Champion. And even after he went through, after Bryan, he had that great feud with Jeff Hardy, which also brought in Sami Zayn. Of course, led to your other one of your matches of the year.
Exactly.
So yes, AJ Styles had a great 2020. Like yeah, he's appeared 3 times so far on this list.
Okay, now Mo, I know you don't normally watch WWE TV all that often.
That's
Have
true.
you actually seen this match?
I have not
Uh,
because I so I feel like for me at this point, I go through different phases. Sometimes it'll be when it comes to me and WWE, sometimes it'll be like I'll watch Raw, I'll watch SmackDown every chance I get. If I don't, I'll be caught up by the next episode or whatever, and I'll watch the pay-per-views infrequently. Now it's kind of more of the opposite, or a little bit less of the opposite. I'll watch pretty much just the pay-per-views because all the major things that I need to know about the match that's coming up is in like a little vignette, and I have the network. So, I mean, also it's like I'd have to get Fox, watch USA Network or FS1, depending on when they decide to move SmackDown to that on occasion. So
Yeah,
I
when
personally just feel
when you
like
do
it's too
get a
much.
chance, I honestly do highly recommend checking it out. I don't recommend, honestly, you can ask my brother, I don't recommend watching a lot of TV wrestling matches too often. Anytime there's a really good match in NXT, I'll just tell my brother, watch this match. I know you don't watch NXT a lot, but watch this match. It's really good. Like the last time I did that was with the recent was it Dunn O'Reilly match on NXT
yeah.
for the normal contendership. Just when you do get a chance, all I'll say, I'm not gonna bang your head against the wall over this through your ears. Just like,
I feel like you will, but it's okay.
but honestly, when you do get a chance, watch it. It is a very well done match, and it's on TV of all fucking places. So,
Yeah,
um,
the IC belt basically was becoming my favorite part of that storyline afterwards is
mhm.
that Daniel Bryan intentionally like manipulates Styles into being what he wanted him to be, which was a fighting champion. Because Styles like, I'm not gonna be a fighting champion. I'm gonna do whatever I want, and Bryan kind of manipulated him along the way to defending that belt very frequently. Like he faced a number of great competitors during his run until he ultimately lost it to Hardy.
I think ultimately, like I said, that's ultimately why I like another reason I like this match, and you just made me realize that it's just it led to some really cool things. It led to a good Intercontinental Championship match later on
It
SmackDown
led
a
to
few months.
a bit of a resurgence for Drew Gulak until they sent him to Raw.
Ex- Less we talk about wasted superstars in WWE, the better. And of course, it led to Sami Zayn returning for the
Yeah,
title. It led to that made all, like you said, all the build up. And what? How did it start? WWE legitimately dicking over Sami Zayn.
I don't think that. I knew they fully. I know they fully intended when Sane did come back, they were going to give him the belt back. Ultimately, they needed to have a champion on TV, and so I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
Nick,
all fine now.
What's your third and last pick?
My third and last pick is a very personal one to my heart. It's going to be Wrestle Kingdom 14 Night 2. Kazuchika Okada defending the IWGP Championship against the IWGP Intercontinental Champion Tetsuya Naito, title for title. Look, Tetsuya Naito is my favorite guy in all New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's my second favorite Japanese wrestler of all time, just slightly behind Shinsuke Nakamura.
I'm honestly, I love Okada, but honestly, Sanada is my favorite New Japan guy right now. Is
Yeah, I
Sanada?
like Sonata too.
Can't wait for that
But
match at Wrestle Kingdom 15. By
but
the way,
Naito, I love Naito so much. I love his character. I love his I don't give a shit attitude. That tranquilo. I love Lij. Even when Bullet Club was at its most popular, I always said I was Lij guy because I love Lij. And so this is a case where New Japan does very long term booking with Naito, and they especially did with Naito is what I'm saying, because this was the first time he faced Okada at Wrestle Kingdom for the title. Uh, he had won the title previously once before over the summer, but he only held it for 70 days, and then he lost it again, and then he had a chance to get the title from Okada. I'm trying to remember, was that Wrestle Kingdom 12? Or was it 13?
You can go ahead and look it up. That's fine.
It was 12 because last year was Tanahashi Omega. But yeah, Wrestle Kingdom 12, it was Okada Naito. Everyone thought this was going to be Naito's mode. They had done all the build up. It was ready for Naito to finally beat Okada. And then Okada won. And I remember being so seemingly pissed off that they didn't give Naito his moment because I felt it was time. But New Japan's like, no, you're going to have to wait. And so this is 2 years later. Naito's got his opportunity again. He beat Jay White the night before to become IC champ. It's ultimately now a much bigger stage at this Wrestle Kingdom. Title for title. Naito versus Okada. Winner take all. And even though I felt like this was going to be Naito's mode, there's still that small possibility that Okada wins anyways. And so I was on the edge of my seat. It's like Naito finally get his massive moment. And at the end, he beat Okada. He won the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, being the top guy and the ace. I know Tanahashi is the ace, but Okada is definitely the top guy of really his generation, him and Tanahashi. But Naito being Okada, holding both titles over the hand in the Wrestle Kingdom. And oh man, then Kenta came out of nowhere.
I was gonna bring that up.
Fuck you! I'm gonna ruin this for everybody in the biggest heel douche move. Oh man, even though I love Kenta, I was like, "Fuck you, Kenta." But even ignoring that, it was Naito had still accomplished what he'd been trying for years to do. He got to the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. He beat Okada. He became the champ. And I'm looking forward to our upcoming Wrestle Kingdom, where he's got 2 hard matches coming up. Well, if he gets to, because night 1 he has to defend both titles against Kota Ibushi, and then whoever wins that match has to face Jay White the next night. I thought they should have done it in reverse, because I feel like Ibushi Naito is a much bigger match than whoever they faces White. And even though I love Kota Ibushi and want him to have a title run too, I just wish not against Naito, man. I can't root against Naito against Naito, no matter who he faces.
Okay, so
but
going
if Ibushi wins, I won't be the end. But yeah, Naito. I know a lot of people thought that Ibushi Okada the night before was the better match, and I can see the arguments for that. But Naito Okada, it wasn't just a good match. It had a lot of sentimental value for me to see Naito finally accomplish the dream he's been trying for the past few years.
So yeah, Okada Naito. Yeah, I actually do remember that match. It was, what else can you say? It's shit. When New Japan knows how to put on a Wrestle Kingdom main event, they know how to put on a Wrestle Kingdom main event. Mm-hmm. It's hard to ever say they've had a bad Wrestle Kingdom event. Some are just better than others, and this one was clearly one of them.
Well, sure, yeah, for some, ultimately this became my event of the year.
Yeah, for some, ultimately their favorite match of all, one of their favorite matches of all time. And apparently it was just voted on by New Japan fans, was the Okada Omega from the previous Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was previous Wrestle Kingdom 13.
It was it with Tanahashi Omega or Okada Omega?
I believe it was Okada Omega was voted on the best one. I think that was 12 or 13.
That was Okada Omega. That was 11.
But that was 11. Okay, so pretty much, yeah, on all appeal, but this one was amazing. I know for a fact, based on the why we're read up on before that match, was like there was a time Naito did get the IWGP Heavyweight title, but it was too soon during his run. It was way too soon.
Yeah, he only held it for 70 days. It was over the summer.
It wasn't like went on tour, figured out what he needed to be, and that's where it started. That's where LIJ really started from, where he created this persona of this guy who doesn't give 2 shits about what you think of him. Ass if he wants to, he's gonna win if he wants to. My favorite spots with my crap. Sorry, internet is being a bit hiccupy right now. Okay, there we go. My favorite parts, I never really saw it, but when he first won the IC title, the way he treated it,
Yeah,
the way he
because
treated it.
they were planning on replacing the belt anyways. So they just had Naito just destroy it, and he threw it. He beat it against the ring. He just kicked it. It was amazing.
But then things started to change. Things started to like Naito started to like realize what he truly wanted to do, and then he made that promise. And let's be honest, when WWE has a superstar that makes that promise, it usually doesn't happen. You know, like okay, Daniel Bryan, like for example, Daniel Bryan just announced he's going to be the first competitor for the Royal Rumble match in January. Let's be honest, I don't because he claims he hasn't won. That's the only accolade he hasn't had has been a Royal Rumble winner. But let's be honest, there's a very slim margin that's going to happen.
The only way I
That's
feel like
more
that
of-
happens is if they can't get The Rock for Mania, because I know they're talking about Bryan being an opponent for Reigns.
Let me finish. There's a small margin. I'm not saying it's impossible, but a small margin. With New Japan, this is what I appreciate the most about this match. They kept their promise. Naito promised at the beginning. Was it the beginning of last year, or was it like sometime or late last year? I believe he said, "I'm going to win both the IC title and the heavyweight title," and he won it. And he had, like you said, he had it for a while. Then he lost it. Then he got it back, and then on top of that, he got the other one back. He kept his promise.
Mhm.
That buildup worked. They didn't just let it fall to waste. Oh, it's just he's just saying that because it's in his promo, whatever. No, they rolled with it. They made it a story of him getting the title, IC title, losing the IC title, getting it back, getting the other title, just making it a dream between works. And the cherry on top was having Kenta ruin his fucking moment. You know, no, that's what worked.
Biggest heel move.
That's what worked. Because guess what? You know what's my favorite WrestleMania main event moment is when Rollins stole the title at 31. That was my favorite moment because nobody was expecting it. It was decided halfway through the goddamn pay-per-view that Rollins was going to cash in. It was an amazing move. It was the last move, but it worked. It worked. It shocked the crowd. It made the crowd show an emotion that we weren't going to expect by the end of tonight. And that's what the end of this match did with Kenta showing up. It fucking shit on all those fans so happy for Naito. It shit on it so hard. And it was to help build up a match, I believe it was at New Beginning in Osaka.
It was one of the New Beginning shows, yeah.
Yeah, it was all just to set up a championship match, which I'm like, that's fucking brilliant.
Which that was a good match too, Naito and Kenta.
That was fucking brilliant. That was fucking brilliant that they did that with Kenta. It makes him the top heel. You not only make your top babyface of the company, but at the same time, you just made a new top heel of the company with Kenta shitting on his parade. Honestly, the match itself, it's fucking Okada Naito. If you've ever seen an Okada Naito match, it's just fucking chemistry. It's one of the best things you can say. Like easily, in my opinion, one of the best G1 matches wasn't even Sonata Ibushi in the finals. It was fucking Ibushi Sonata. And what was it, like the first round of matches? Like that was a great match because nobody was expecting Sonata to beat the double champ. And it worked so well.
Oh, you meant Sonata Naito.
Sonata, did I say the wrong thing? I apologize. Sonata Naito. It made it work.
Ibushi.
Sorry, Sonata Naito. It made it work so well, and it's because of what the build-up they did at Wrestle Kingdom with making Naito the double champ, because nobody was expecting that. Yeah, of course. The only nitpick was like later down the road. Yeah, they had Evil win both titles, and then that was a great
swerve though.
It was a great swerve. It was a great swerve, but it was just so out of nowhere. You're gonna take the titles. Okay, you can have the titles. But no, the match itself, amazing. Great work from both guys, and amazing heel work at the end with Kenta.
Yeah, so this choosing, like I said, this year for choosing my year-end awards for Spin at Two Places was very difficult compared to last year. I was really torn between the tag match that I mentioned earlier and this Naito Okada match. If I was just going on sentimental value, I would have gone with Okada Naito as my match of the year. But when it came to everything involved, storyline build up, I had to end up going with the AEW tag match. But
Right.
this match I just mentioned came very close.
Right. Mo, did you actually have you gotten a? What are your thoughts on this
So,
match?
look, for me, I can't comment on this because I don't watch New Japan. It's not to the point of accessibility to me to where I can like I know there's New Japan World and that kind of stuff, but I just don't have the time. But from what you guys are talking about, how you guys are talking about this match, I mean, I've seen some New Japan matches, and like I was mentioning the Kristen earlier before this recording started, how like I subscribe to the New Japan YouTube, and every Monday they put out a free match of like one of their older matches, and I check that stuff out. So it's like these names are not unfamiliar to me. Just I'm glad that you guys are giving me the tiny details about the build up and everything like that. And I know that it's amazing because of the matches that I've seen in New Japan so far. They've all been amazing, not just involving wrestlers that have not just involving wrestlers that have wrestled in America and they're coming over to Japan for a stint or whatever. It's like the Japanese wrestlers there as well. It's just a whole different style. So hearing all this stuff has it definitely has a different impact, and just you guys relaying all of this information, I can just imagine the crowd and how like the anticipation and build up and disappointment, all of that stuff involved in this match. That's all I have to say about it. I in the future, I swear I will subscribe to New Japan World.
Yeah, it's
Um,
only 9.99 yen.
but what if you don't have 999 yen and you just have American dollars? How much is that gonna be?
It's actually
Huh?
less than $10. Less than
Huh?
$10.
Oh my god, Nick, I can't do the conversions right
The
now.
okay, the only other thing I would say you're missing from not watching that match, Mo, is Chris Kelly selling Destino to English commentary. No,
Destino!
it's like Destino, and Mo he leaves it hanging there until like it's a 3 count. He does
So
it,
it's
and
like a soccer goal
yeah,
for
Yeah.
exactly,
for
exactly.
a
It's like that, except with Naito's
football
finisher.
goal. Got it for
It
the international.
it's amazing because even at the end he goes, "Got him." Yeah. I'm sorry. English commentary is really good. No, stop. English commentary is pretty good for New
Oh,
Japan. Like
that's why Kevin Kelly has won
Kevin
the Wrestling
Kelly, yes,
Observer Announcer of the Year award.
yeah. So Mo, what is your third pick?
So my third pick, let me just set the stage. It involves a champion who has to deal with this person who relentlessly is just egging them on, just keeps saying the same things, antagonizing him. And eventually, this person has had enough. It's basically just a put up or shut up moment. And Christian, I showed you this video before this started. So when the time comes, I need you to put up just a clip of what just happened for this match.
Okay, okay.
And
I'm
then we're going to wait a few seconds and just let the people just see what happened. You guys aren't going to see it, but the people will see it. And if it isn't edited in, we're just going to accept it for what it is.
Nick. I'll show you the video later. It's really stupid. But it's funny as hell.
Now, going past that point, I'm going to actually talk about what I actually chose, and that is Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. I
Yes.
quit
I quit
match.
match. Yeah.
The now, if you didn't notice, all of the matches that I've chosen have been pretty brutal, pretty heavy. There's been a series of um, intensity between the wrestlers to some degree. For for Swan and Young, it's just like intense, intense heel versus baby face who's just trying to like do what he can on his going through his injuries and just trying to be a champion. For Sasha and Bailey, it's the culmination of a friendship that has gone sour after many years, a team that has just imploded on themselves and they're finally taking their aggression out on each other. For for John and Eddie, it's it like the way that they build it up, it's
Hmm.
essentially like they are brothers, they were born and raised together in the same household, and they have had enough of each other. And this is how they're going to take their aggression out on each other. Because Eddie has gone down a certain path, Moxley has gone down a certain path, and they're butting heads, and this is how they're going to do it. And I feel like the finish to this is very fitting for these kinds of wrestlers with the the barbed wire choke out where Eddie's just like, I gotta say it or else I'm probably gonna die because
Yeah.
Moxley isn't gonna let up on me. And it's just the brutal nature of it all that I kind of enjoyed. I mean, it's not in like a sadistic way, but it really helped with the match when it's just like you have all this emotion and investment in these guys and what they have to give for this match. And you see it as they're doing everything that they're doing to try and make the other person quit. But
Okay.
I really there were a lot of great matches throughout the year. Um, these were my three. I do have one that I feel has kind of like an honorable mention,
We'll do some quick
but
honorables after this. Like I think I just did
yeah,
four of them when we brought up the women's matches. But all I have to say about this is this match had the best promo of the year attached to it, with that whole stare down where they couldn't touch each other. Had the most, I can't even believe I'm using this word, Shakespearean promo I've ever seen. Like when Eddie first appeared on it was during that whole open challenge for the TNT title. When he
Hmm.
first showed up, when he was on the mic, he did fucking I didn't even know who the fuck Eddie Kingston was. Full stop. Before AEW, I had no idea who he was.
I mean it
After
was the
that,
same for me.
I watched one of his promos during when he did.
I've been long familiar with them, so I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, like you guys, yeah, you guys are more like you've seen a lot more indie stuff and stuff. Like me, I've been mainly main stuff, WWE here and little New Japan there, but I've only been to like one big indie house show and that's it. Eddie Kingston, I didn't know. I saw his promo, great work. I saw one of his Progress promos he did at Progress. He did great there. And then it got into this. And what's funny is they had to start this rivalry early because Archer tested positive for COVID, so they actually had to start this rivalry earlier than expected. So, if yeah, it just started, and it was great family buildup. It was great buildup between the two. I love the stuff where it's like why Eddie has become the way he's become, why John had to do what he did when he had to join the big what Eddie would call like selling out the corporate. The oh my god, the stuff in the promo, that amazing promo itself about I'm gonna have to not keep that promise I made to your mother. Was
Yeah.
some great fucking work there. Just absolutely amazing stuff. And the match itself was well done as well, because that's the great thing about Eddie Kingston is he's actually, not only is he absolutely spectacular on the mic, but he's actually a good wrestler as well. And it showed in this match. The story about this match and what ultimately led to Moxley defeating him was just heartbreaking. And I know you don't even watch him, Mo, but Eddie's post-match promo was on an episode of BTE. His post-match promo, because his phone apparently legit broke, so he couldn't post it on the internet. So he posted it at BT in the post-show BTE episode for Full Year,
I mean,
and it was good because he was heartbroken.
I'll definitely check it out. I mean, I subscribe to the AEW YouTube. Every once in a while, I'll check out BTEs. I just don't follow it on a
Yeah,
regular
don't worry.
basis.
I'll send you a link with the exact timestamp where he begins the promo. But he is fucking heartbroken. Like by it. He even explains why ultimately he had to pass out, because the barbed wire was getting to a point where his hand, I believe what he said was like his hands were starting to get numb because of the barbed wire in his neck. Like he had no
Yeah.
choice. He ultimately had no choice. It's heartbreaking promo, and like I can see why he chose this match. This match was really well done. I mean, Moxley. I'll go with what Nick said about Moxley's work this year. He's had a lot of good rivalries this year for the title. Jericho, Kingston, Archer, Omega, which we
Brody
saw
Lee.
what happened. Yeah, we saw ultimately saw what happened with that. But just like amazing stuff in this match overall, and just prime example as to why Moxley had one of the best runs out of any wrestler this year.
And, yeah, and ultimately, that's why I chose him to be my male wrestler of the year. It was very difficult. I was stuck between either him, Naito, or Drew McIntyre. It came down to those three. And it was very hard to choose. I think what ultimately hurt Naito is that New Japan had to miss a lot of its year because of the COVID shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
So Naito wasn't able to do as much as they wanted to do with him this year. But so, and what ultimately came down McIntyre and Moxley was just Moxley. I felt like had the greatest character work and the most intense storytelling and matches. And this is like one of the reasons I ultimately chose him. I list like my top 5 highlights of them to already support my argument for why I chose them, and this match was most certainly on there. It was a great storytelling, and this is the case where WWE really needs to learn to trust the wrestlers, and it definitely helps when they draw on their real life, because Eddie and Moxley are actual friends in real life. Everything they said was based on their actual relationship. They both came up on the indie scene, the hardcore style independent scene, and I've been a fan of Eddie Kingston for a very long time. I from his time in Impact Wrestling, where he had that amazing LAX Civil War, where it was Conan Santana Ortiz against Eddie Kingston, Hernandez, and Homicide. That was an amazing storyline. And that was during a time when people really still weren't paying attention to Impact. And that was one of the things I point to is like, I could point to that and saying, this is proof positive. Impact Wrestling is something you need to watch. And so Eddie Kingston had great there. After he left Impact, he had a short run with the NWA where he was teaming with Homicide's Outlaw Inc. And he was doing good promos there. Unfortunately, because of COVID, the NWA's lost a number of guys, mainly to AEW. And I've seen him wrestle live before because he wrestled in Evolve, where it was funny because he was a face in NWA and a heel in Evolve. So I was sitting front row and he came by and I was like, outlawing for life. And I love Eddie Kingston because he healed me and I loved it. He was like, oh yeah, mate. Oh no, sorry, fuck you. And I died, guys. I just got healed by Eddie Kingston.
That's really cool.
He's one of the best guys on the mic I have seen in a long time. He's good in the ring. AEW was absolutely brilliant to sign this guy. WWE missed the mark with the not picking him up, and I know it was a huge loss for NWA to not be able to keep hold of him.
Right.
But definitely, I'm enjoying his current feud with. It's weird he's feuding with Pac and Archer at the exact same time. I feel like these should have been two separate feuds, but I'm sure it'll still lead
Well,
to good matches.
It feels
I'm
like
sure
they're
it
going
will.
somewhere with that.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
it could
think Eddie
be like
Kingston is a future world champion.
I feel for the Pac Archer scenario, it works in a way because Eddie Kingston is like a pit bull. He's just like he's just he's just hungry. He's going after everyone. He's showing how he is the big man in the promotion, and with that kind of attitude that he brings about for his character in AEW, eventually you are going to have opposition, and sometimes you may have opposition coming at you from different
Yeah, he's managed
angles.
to piss off a
So
lot of
it's just
people.
like
So
so it's just like this could work for if he comes out on top, this could work even better for him
yeah,
because he could just be even more braggadocious about it.
I just feel like Archer is overshadowing Pac because I was intrigued by this being a Kingston Pac feud, and now Archer is coming in. I just feel like Pac's kind of being pushed down a little bit on the totem pole in this feud.
I like I said, I think it's gonna lead somewhere, but we'll have to wait on that. So
Yes, but
my
Eddie Kingston, John Moxley, fantastic match. John Moxley is my male wrestler of the year. Eddie Kingston, in my opinion, future world champion. AEW does this right. He can be a main event star for years to come.
so 1 second, let me double check my. Okay, we're good. Okay, so my pick, my last pick. I won't. I'm not gonna clue on this one. I'm just gonna build up to it. So this year, like I said, tire fire. One of the drawbacks because of it, the pandemic, was lack of crowds. Like the way WrestleMania was this year, the way most of Dynamite was, most Raw and SmackDown was, what Impact still currently is. They're the most precautious, which is interesting. But I would say there was matches that needed a crowd, like desperately needed a crowd because it probably would have helped the benefit of it. Maybe that Orton Edge match at WrestleMania probably would have helped it if there was a crowd there. Maybe their Backlash match would have helped if there was a crowd there. In my opinion, in my honest goddamn opinion, the October 29th, 2020 episode of NXT UK of Walter versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK Championship needed a fucking crowd.
Yeah.
Out of all the matches, out of every single little, they try to pull that stupid CWC Thunderdome bullshit with that. No, this needed a crowd. This no other if gun to head, if I could only choose one match this year that needed a goddamn crowd, it was this fucking match. It is. Where do we even start? I mean, it sucked. This match was supposed to happen months ago. But because of pandemic, they had to delay it all the way to this fall. And then when they finally got to it, the buildup was freaking amazing. Not only reminding us of their prior history matches in WXW and other promotions, but their drive to in every single one of those matches to beat the living hell out of each other. Like, just like Walter's. What else do you say about the competitors? Walter is a big boy who can sell for the tiniest underdog. We saw that last year with his match against Tyler Bate. And Dragunov is a freaking masochist. This dude is taking chops like he's taking a soak bath in a tub, like just letting it all soak in. The pain and all of that. Just
Sounds
like
nice.
you think it would be, but there is no
Sounds
other
nice. Relaxing.
yeah, there in my opinion, there is no other match this year that was the most hard-hitting or felt the most brutal than this one. They wound up looking like by the end of this match, they wound up looking like two giant cherry tomatoes by the end of it. Dragunov's perseverance throughout the match is amazing. He is just not giving Walter an inch. Walter's determination, where that Dragunov's not going to give up. Why he keeps on escalating his moves to that splash that ultimately got him the championship in the first NXT UK championship in the first place, to his dangerous striking abilities, to his dangerous submission moves. That dude has arms the size of fucking tree trunks. Just amazing. And just selling. That's another great thing about Volta is like he can sell an underdog's drive, his passion, his not giving up tenacity. Let's look back at Tyler Bates' match. But it shows why he's still an amazing champion, why they gave the belt to him. Ilya was great as well. A very well-established babyface that only brings the only real nitpick I have to this match, in which I think Dragunov should have won this match.
Yes,
I think this should have been I think this should be ultimately the end of Walter and in the beginning of the pandemic era of NXT UK, and we moved on to other stars going through. Because, like I said, he's already been a well-established face in the NXT UK roster. He already proven his worth against the likes of Imperium itself. Whether it was tagging up with Gallus, whether it was helping out Tyler Bate, whether it was helping out anybody else, where it was just that really good singles match he had against Alexander Wolf on an episode of NXT UK. He was the ultimate guy against Imperium. This was supposed to be Crescendo's feud. This is supposed to be when he won it, and he didn't. And I am fully aware why WWE didn't do it, because they still want to do Balor Volta at whenever TakeOver Dublin's going to be. They still want that match. But I don't think that match needs a world title. It's one of those few matches I don't think needs a world title, because the competitor himself is what brought up Brian Styles. It's two veteran competitors going at it. And
yeah, even then, I feel like you could have had Dragunov win this match and then Walter win it back before he faces Balor.
Yeah. Oh, but the other thing, commentary was actually surprisingly really good. Usually, I mute commentary, but I couldn't with this one. I absolutely couldn't. Andy Shepherd and currently Nigel McGuinness, Andy Shepherd are the current commentators on NXT UK. Of course, you already know why I love Nigel McGuinness on commentary, because you probably think the same way. Why McGuinness great commentary, but Andy Shepherd sounds like a fucking commentator for a soccer match, for Pete's sake. Throughout this match, he makes you feel like he's going to yell goal at any time or Destino at any point. The way he's like saying, he's talking like this is a freaking soccer match that could end the world if the guy doesn't score that goal. Everything about this match was really well done. My only nitpick about it was just the who the winner turned out to be. But he did, I will admit though, he did do the whole, he lost via pass out because of submission. I'll give it that.
Yeah,
but
I do think Dragunov I think the plan probably was for Dragunov to win, but I don't know if they're going to do any title changes until they get a crowd again. Because even it's leading to like the NXT titles having very long title reigns because of how long they were out of commission with COVID, and they're probably not going to drop their belts before.
Not every title, because the NXT North American kind of changed.
Oh no, I was talking about the UK titles.
UK in general. The only one I agree with on that one, like, look, I can take Walter being champion. So I am just tired of Kaylee Ray as UK women's champion right now.
What happened to Piper Niven getting the belt?
She lost twice. She for the first time. Oh no, this is what happened. She had the one women's title, UK women's title. In the middle of the match, fucking Kaylee Ray pulls some BS. Oh, I'm injured. Comes back. The match continues, and then Piper loses because of an exposed turnbuckle. And then I haven't even watched. I'm way behind NXT UK, but then they had a last women's standing match or it was Falls Count Anywhere match. And then Kaylee Ray won again because this time another female heel cost her. It's nothing against Kaylee Ray. I think she's a really good competitor, but I feel like it's kind of time.
Yeah, she's held the belt for a while.
At least with Walter, I can go, okay, fine. They're saving up for what's probably going to be an amazing 2021 match next year with Balor versus Walter. I can understand that. Yeah. I can at least go, I understand that. I'm not happy about it, but I can understand it. With Kaylee Ray, I'm just like, anybody, freaking title offer. Right? I'm just
Yes,
tired.
right now she's as this recording, she's held the belt for 484 days.
Is that combined? Because no,
No,
that's total.
well, she's only had one reign.
Okay. But yeah, sorry. That's all I gotta say about Walter Early Dragon. Do you guys have any other thoughts about the match and stuff like that? If you did see it,
I did see it.
okay.
I really enjoyed the match. I remember a lot of people thought how they weren't expecting the match to be that good because it was a TV match that was in an empty arena.
Technically, I put 2 TV matches on my picks.
Well, like I said earlier, there's been a lot of good TV matches this year. But yeah, great match. I do think Dragunov should have won because Walter has held the belt for I'll tell you, I didn't think anybody would hold the belt longer than Pete Dunne. I think Walter's probably gonna hold the belt longer than Pete Dunne did. And of course that wasn't helped by the fact that UK was off the air for months. But I do think the plan was for him to drop the belt to Bauer earlier this year. But ultimately that got postponed twice. So I don't know. So Walter probably wasn't intended to hold the belt this long.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see if they ultimately do end up fucking ever happening that event. I think it's now scheduled for June.
Yeah, they pushed it to summer 2021. That's all I know.
Hopefully things calm down at least over in Ireland by June, but we'll have to see.
Mo, any thoughts about this match?
So I did not get a chance to see this match, but I will say,
Damn it, Mo.
You got homework, Mo. Get some serious homework.
Look, I've been busy drinking.
Okay, fine.
That's
So
excuse.
what I will say is that from the hype around this match, from all of my friends that watch NXT UK, they were just like, "This is a fucking insane match. This is what NXT UK is all about." And it's like, this is the match that you definitely have to see. From just like stills that I saw of the match itself, I was just like, all right, this is something I definitely need to check out at some point. Along with that, it seems like it, with the people involved, it just makes me think of like very, very old school wrestling. Like,
Oh yeah,
before WWE, before all that stuff, just
old
like,
British style.
yeah, old British style, where it's just like two men
Catch
in
as
like
catch can.
black drunks, and they have like long mustaches or whatever, and they're just like, put up your ducks, let's have at it. And it's like that kind of stuff, but it's just like, oh my god, this guy is actually like bleeding and like doing all this stuff. What should we do? Just let it happen.
Yeah, this match made my legit made my chest hurt watching it. Like I wasn't joking. They literally made their chest full on red. It was ridiculous. And it wasn't even slaps that made it hard hitting. There was a lot of stuff that made you just cringe. And this wasn't even no disqualification. This was just a singles match. A freaking singles match, and it made me hurt so much. It felt so brutal to me. It worked so well.
But that is all I have to say as an outsider on this for this match.
So, did any of you just want to briefly talk about any other matches? I wouldn't say honorable mentions because that would imply this was a top, like a list, like a top 10 list or something like that. But we did come up with 9 matches, actually. 9 full matches.
10 counting the FTR Young Bucks match we talked about.
Okay, we'll put that at the bottom. I guess we'll add that as like
you can't
number
put
10.
it at the bottom if it's not a list.
I guess we can talk briefly about that, even though we talked a lot about it when we were talking.
I feel like we already talked about it.
Okay, yeah.
So we had a good 10 then.
Yeah, honestly.
But some other matches, I can definitely name a few. Definitely also from Wrestle Kingdom, we had 2 awesome matches. We had Will Ospreay versus Hiromu Takahashi.
That was a fucking good match.
That was a great match.
That one spot where they're back and forth in and out of the ring.
Yeah.
That was a great
spot. Because Hiromu had a very, very scary injury.
Yeah, I heard about
against, was it Dragon Lee, I think it was? When he was wrestling in California, where it was entirely possible that Takahashi's career was going to be over. and he fought against the injury, and he finally came back at Wrestle Kingdom. He had to ultimately vacate the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title before, and so he came back. The champion at the time was Will Ospreay, who, of course, anyone who follows New Japan knows Will Ospreay is awesome. And it was a fantastic match. Went the distance, and Takahashi got his belt back. It was a great moment, and so I definitely have to include that. Another match from that same night, I mentioned briefly before, was Okada Ibushi for the IWGP Championship. I know some people had put that match above Okada Naito, but I ultimately went with Okada Naito because the sentimental reasons as well. But still, Okada Ibushi was a fantastic match.
Yeah, I love how they added that whole like Ibushi goes into rage mode part.
Oh yeah,
for his gimmick.
Well, now we'll have to see if Ibushi can 1 year later beat Naito and get the title. But then if he does, he has to face Jay White the next night. So we'll have to see. Some other matches I can think of. Let me think. Oh, a couple. Let's change that. A fun match that I have to mention: the Stadium Stampede from Double or Nothing.
Fuck, I forgot. No offense, but there are so many fucking good matches.
Completely remembered that. It was just like, that is
easily in the top 3 best cinematic matches of the year.
Possibly, but it wasn't really much of a cinematic match, but it was like one of the more entertaining matches of the year, just because it's like, it's all over the place. What I love about the fact of AEW is that they were making use of that stadium. It's like, are the Jaguars playing at all? No, NFL is still doing their thing, like kind of holding off. Okay, we are using all of this space for all of our pay-per-views. And it's like, there's only one particular match that really soured my opinion on like everything, and that was Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara, where it was like we weren't sure if Matt Hardy
got hurt. Yeah,
we weren't sure about that, but like everything else, it was just like we're using the arena. And when we say the arena, it's not just what's set up for AEW. It's we're using the football field. We're using the stands. Oh, where were they selling merchandise usually? We're using that too. I love it.
There's a lot of great spots in that match.
Yeah, there's so many great spots. It would take a long time to list all of them. Like off the top of my head, was Omega and Page fighting, and with I can't remember who they were fighting in the bar.
I think was it Hager. Was it? Yeah, I believe Hager.
Oh yeah, it was 2-on-1. They were having to fight Hager because Hager was taking both of them. And like Paige got a beer and Omega got milk, and they started down. Like they just they beat up Omega, and they slid. Paige got slid down the bar.
Jericho getting a near fall, calling bullshit to Aubrey Edwards, and they go to the replay booth to double check it was a near fall.
Oh yeah, when he attacked the mascot, which actually got them in a little trouble with the NFL.
What about the Orange Cassidy Jericho match, Mimosa Mayhem?
Mimosa Mayhem was great. I enjoyed their second match more, the one that Orange Cassidy won, because that was just straight up match. Like Mimosa Mayhem was fun, but from a pure wrestling standpoint, I enjoyed Cassidy Jericho too.
Like
honestly, their whole trilogy was a lot of fun this year.
A whole bunch of just like, they're very gimmicky, of course.
Yeah,
but it's just like, it's gimmicky in a way that I feel like you couldn't say that you weren't at least a little entertained by it.
Yeah, and I would say another guy who really stepped up in 2020, Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy had a star-making year. Surprisingly, like where most of you didn't even have a crowd. And but definitely Orange Cassidy has become one of my favorites in AEW.
Same here.
And he's come so close to winning championship gold. Hopefully, he gets some soon.
Uh, I was going to go with one match, but I'm going to switch over to. I brought up briefly, but definitely Cassie Pac at AEW Revolution
Yeah.
was it was just a perfect way of introducing the entire world to Cassie, truly introducing him the world to Orange Cassidy and what he's capable of, not only as a comedic wrestler, but what the skills he can legit has in the ring as well was just
See,
amazing work. That
for
match was just entertaining throughout.
for Cassidy, that's one of the wrestlers that when I first saw him on AEW, I was just like looking up like what his whole deal is, and you could look up Wrestle Circus. If you look up Wrestle
Oh yeah,
Circus
Russell.
Yeah, I heard about that
Orange
match.
Cassidy, and I think he's had a couple of matches through that where it's just like you see this entertaining, ridiculous BS wrestling match, and it's just
The
like
kind that
it's
makes Jim Cornette have a stroke every night.
yeah, of course, but it's like not only is it's fun in the way it's like okay, you've seen Orange Cassidy in AEW, you know what to expect from him at this point if you've seen enough of his matches, but it's also entertaining to see the people that he wrestles against where it's like if you watch any of their other matches they're a little bit more of the traditional kind of serious side and they're going along with it and they're kind of just like oh what where'd he go now and then it's just like Orange Cassidy gets him with some stupid roll up but it's just like
No,
it's
one of my favorite
fun.
aspects of the Jericho Cassidy feud was that after Cassidy had caused orange juice to fall on Jericho, the jacket got oranger and oranger every week. It was just fucking funny.
We can't end this best of thing or honorable mention thing without talking about the Firefly Funhouse match.
Oh
So
yes.
I
We
was
can't.
I was
We
gonna say this match is the embodiment of 2020
yeah.
because you one you don't know what the rules are and
Mm-mm.
just like 2020 you don't know what's going on. A whole bunch of stuff happens that's crazy and ridiculous and then it ends in a way where you aren't even sure about the outcome and you're not even sure like there may have been some cool moments throughout but overall you're just like what the fuck just happened.
Yeah, if you guys want to see Miyamo's initial reaction, you guys can actually where our initial reaction is on the channel of the Firefly Funhouse match. It's Nick, if you want to check it out yourself, it is hilarious because I don't believe we were dumbfounded. We were just laughing a lot throughout it, I believe.
It was a lot of references that it was just like some of them I feel like a lot of the references were for people that were uh, older fans of WWE and more knew the history of John Cena and I mean there were some Wyatt references but I feel like it was like a psychological profile of John Cena
That's
and
it works so well because this was one of the like first real times where we sat there and went, this is what the Fiend is truly capable of. He can take any soul he deems the Fiend needs to get revenge on and go full wild. And we're currently seeing that right now with his feud against Orton.
Which has been
And
great.
yeah, but like this match is great. It was such a way of encapsulating not only the legacy of Cena, but all the stuff fans have hated about him, all the distaste, all that, and they incorporated so much. I still haven't seen the WrestleMania 36 W24 documentary they released, but I like if I had to choose only one section I watched from it, it has to be the Firefly Funhouse match. They got him
yeah
in his old trunks. They got the SmackDown fists there. Like they did this whole match about this man's legacy
They
and
had
how
him
it's
be Hollywood Hogan, show reference how he never turned heel.
they had
exactly.
they had him well I mean he was kind of heel when he was the rapper persona in a way
Well, he never turned heel after he won the WWE title.
Yeah, but it's like they also had him doing the rhyming scheme. I think at one
Yeah.
point he was only talking in raps and rhymes.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's just like, all right, I need to go listen to WWF the Music Volume 4 or whatever it was again.
Yeah. And I think that really goes to the expand point of another MVP of 2020, and that's Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt as the Fiend. Okay, let's get out right now. The only major hiccup he had this year was losing to Goldberg at Super Showdown.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've blocked that completely from my mind.
That was his only look. That was his only thing.
You're not going to talk about the hiccup in which he lost to Roman Reigns in his debut.
At least he wasn't pinned. Like it was Strowman who got pinned.
Yeah, don't major. No, Mo. I said major hiccup. That was just like
major hiccup. Yes,
major hiccup. Other than that, I do agree. I think this Bray Wyatt, the Fiend himself, was just really well done this year, except for those hiccups, of course. But like,
I mean, yeah, like his feud with Daniel Bryan, his feud with John Cena, Braun Strowman,
yeah,
and now Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, that quick little feud he had with Retribution where he just decimated them all.
No, that was amazing.
I barked out so hard.
Okay. Oh, we know you did. You
were
telling us continuously. It's like the Fiend beat Retribution. Retribution's done.
Okay, so
I love Bray Wyatt. I've always loved Bray Wyatt, even under his previous incarnation, and also now. Bray Wyatt's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. His run as the Fiend has cemented that. Because of course, guys know the Undertaker is my favorite of all time. So of course, I like a character like the Fiend. So I'm looking forward because everyone's like, "Oh, they killed the Fiend." I was like, "Have you guys watched wrestling? Like, how many times did they kill Undertaker when he came back?" Like, Orton even burnt Undertaker alive at one point in 2005. So yeah, he's coming back.
I would say in terms of that, it seems like if there's enough money involved, then the Fiend will come back. Otherwise, I feel like Bray Wyatt is going to introduce another character because it seems like if anything, Bray Wyatt has like some pretty
apparently
control in terms of creating his own characters.
It's still going to be the Fiend, but there are going to be some tweaks to it because Bray Wyatt wants to do some updates. Because this past Monday on Raw, Alexa Bliss showed up with Alexa's Playground where a swing set appeared in the ring. Man, talk about Alexa Bliss. She's been killing it also with this new character.
Yeah, definitely. She did been doing great as well.
And she even insinuated that he is going to be back, and that when he does come back, it'll be like nothing Orton has ever seen before. So we'll have to see.
Was there any other matches you guys could think of that were worth mentioning?
I enjoyed like everything the Fiend did. That's the Wyatt Swamp fight. Honestly, like all the cinematic stuff he's done over. Broken Matt's cinematic stuff has been fun. Like that match he had at the last pay-per-view with Sammy Guevara at the compound.
That introduced Hurricane and Gangrel.
That was awesome. But yeah, there's been so much good stuff this year. I have to give applause to all the wrestling companies this year. They've been having to deal with a situation we've never had to deal with before. Like no audiences. A lot of them had a rough start, especially WWE had rough beginnings with this. But they've all stepped up. They've perfected the art of the cinematic match, which I hope never actually goes away. I know even when the crowds come back, I hope they still do some interesting things with that. We'll have to see because we're still in this. Like Royal Rumble and all these are still going to be crowdless environments. But hopefully we can get the crowds back in by Mania. And like hopefully Mania does go on as planned. It's supposed to be right here in Tampa, baby. So I definitely want to go to Mania.
Okay.
2020 has been a very, very clusterfuck of a year. But I've had a lot of fun watching a lot of shit in wrestling. I can't wait to see what happens next year.
Come on.
You got any final thoughts, Mo?
I just hope that there will never be a elimination chamber match like the one that was held for the women's before the pandemic.
Oh, it was a bad match.
It wasn't a good match. Yeah, we're just gonna thoughts on not only our call are like basically 10 of our favorite matches of the year total, but like just wrestling this year in general. It was very well done. Even with a pandemic hitting, we still managed to swim through it with some pretty well done stuff overall. And we're looking forward to what we're getting next year. Hell, we're getting in a couple weeks. We're getting freaking Wrestle Kingdom 15, which is awesome. I mean, they're even having a crowd there. They're not going to be able to verbally cheer, but you'll hear them. They'll be there.
Yeah, they're gonna have 20,000 people, so they're gonna be like 20, 10%, 20% capacity, I think, because the Tokyo Dome can hold like 65,000 people.
We'll have a
when
crowd.
you say they're not going to be able to verbally cheer, you mean like they can't shout at all, or you think
No,
it's gonna be muffled? because of the match?
New Japan policy for crowds. Tap and stomp. You cannot verbally cheer.
Gotcha.
If you're wearing a mask, I don't see a problem.
But also, in terms of New Japan compared to like American promotions, they tend to be pretty subdued, and it's more of the announcers that kind of give off the excitement that you would feel during the match.
Right. But yeah, that's the rule set for it. Then we have a Rumble. There's a big question mark and if there's going to be a crowd there. We still haven't heard any official announcement about WrestleMania this year. Tickets usually go on sale in November. Still haven't heard anything. At the moment, all we've heard is it's definitely more than likely going to be in Tampa. But still amazing stuff to look forward to next year. Who knows? By the end of next year, Paige could be world champion. By the end of next year, we could have a big return in the form of somebody or something. We could have the worst match of all time happen, the worst promo of all time happen, or the best match we've ever seen in the history of ever. Who knows? 2021 is big ol' enigma. But at least it's something to look forward to more than this year. So other than that, if you're new to the channel, you can hit the like button. If you want to talk to us more about stuff like this, comment down below. If you want to share us around, share around. And if you like us just a little bit more than anybody else when it comes to talking about just wrestling in 2020 in general, hit that subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon as well. Let us know what you thought of wrestling in 2020 overall. What were some of your favorite matches? What were your favorite moments? Who were your MVPs of this year? What was your favorite tag team matches? What's something you feel like we missed or underappreciated? Let us know in the comments below. Put down what you thought of our reactions our thoughts overall. But most importantly, we of course thank you for watching. Now, Mo, other than Mo, where you can find him somewhere on the internet, Nick, where can they find you?
You can catch up on my wrestling column, Spandex and Suplexes, the interview series, every Saturday afternoon on FloridaGeekScene.com. This past week was on what came out today on Sunday because, of course, busy with the holidays, where I announced my second annual Year End Awards. I announced most of the winners, all but one, I think, on this show, but definitely check them out. See this week's wrestling where I announced, male wrestler of the year, female wrestler of the year, tag team of the year, event of the year, and match of the year, which was, of course, the theme of this video. But, of course, hope you check it out, and we will see you. Go for it, Kristen.
Well, later, but I'm not done yet because, of course, I got
more.
And he's frozen.
For us. Oh, no, the internet connection's going. I gotta hurry. Come on, internet.
Let it go.
There it is. Okay, I'm gonna be quick about this. So yeah, we got a big packed month coming. We got both nights of Wrestle Kingdom 15. We got Impact's Hard to Kill 2020. And at the end of January, literally the last day of January, we got Royal Rumble 2020. Go D-Rod.
2021.
2021. This year's almost over.
Yeah, Hard to Kill 2021 and Royal Rumble 2021. But now, until next time, though, I'm Kristen.
I'm Nick Slade.
I'm Mo, baby.
And this has been a very goodbye forever filled episode of SRB's 1, 2, 3 Wrestling. So now we'll see you
later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
If you want to check out our previous reactions
or any one of our other SRB shows,
check out one of our playlists down below.
If you want to check us out in the social universe,
You can find us on Twitter
and Stardust
at Super React Bros.